Welcome to the Beyond the Years podcast, a podcast about all things Disney. I am your host, Josh, and as always, I am joined by the lovely Ashley.
Hello. How's everyone doing?
Good.
It's a holiday week.
4th of July today.
Yeah, we're recording on a Tuesday. I didn't
The
think
4th
about
of
that
July.
for a second. Yeah, I know. It just feels like that should have been a Monday holiday.
Yeah.
So
Now we have another Monday at work tomorrow. Yay.
Be an easy week.
Yeah, you think that? And then it'll be like the last part of the week is going to go by so slow.
I
So,
don't know.
well, today we are talking about something special that we recently watched. Ashley, why don't you go ahead and lead since it's your movie?
Well, so we're going to talk about Elemental today because I didn't even know it had released in theaters, and I listened to a podcast last week, and they were talking about how surprisingly good it was, and I was like, oh my god, we got to go see this movie with our 3-year-old. So I texted Josh. This was all super early in the morning. I was like, we need to go see this movie tonight with Grayson, and we bought tickets. We went and saw it. It was amazing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before that, we are just about 2 months out from our trip to Disney World. I feel like we got to keep doing the updates.
Yeah.
So what else has happened with that since?
2 months out and $1,000 short.
$1,000. Yeah, so we've got a little over 2 months. Next week, we'll be able to do our dining reservations, which hopefully we get the ones we want. We'll see how it goes. But
Will we do that
exciting.
or will Megan do that?
I'll do that on the app.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. It's finally starting to feel like we're closing in.
It still feels a little far away.
Oh, yeah, it does.
A little far away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for like what it's going to feel like the week before we leave. We got to really immerse ourselves in the whole Disney experience.
Speaking of Disney, like, are we going to get matching shirts or are we getting shirts at all?
I don't know. Because I feel like I would rather
Buy shirts there?
Yeah.
So
Get merchandise in the park.
The first day at Disney Springs, get all the merch that we can for 5 days.
Well, I think we're going to be so excited that we're going to want to buy stuff at Disney Springs that first day. So
we'd rather not buy extra stuff to bring down there.
Mm-hmm.
Grayson's got Spider-Man shirts and stuff that he can wear.
Yeah, I mean, I care less this time about what I'm wearing at the park and more that just we're getting to go.
Yeah, I get it. I did see a viral packing hack that I sent you on TikTok.
I didn't watch it.
Go figure. It's where they take, the shoes rack that goes behind doors.
Mm-hmm.
So each day, each spot where there's where you put a shoe, you put the kid's outfit for that day.
Oh, okay.
You put all those in there and then you roll it up and you just stuff it in the suitcase. And literally you just hang it on the door and like all their clothes are there ready to go. It's such a good idea. I'll have to show you later.
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
I was like, we're going to have to buy one of those just to do that.
Or take one off the door. We've got one in our closet.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't think about that. You just get all your shoes in there, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm pre-trip. I'm most excited to go to the store and buy all of like our travel essentials. So we're going to do like fun gifts for Grayson along the drive to keep him occupied.
Mm-hmm.
And I think shopping for that is going to be fun.
Yeah. And the travel size stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Travel size toothpaste, travel size. Which,
just random.
yeah. But
we might not do travel size toothpaste, but just like your travel essentials, like just kind of make it fun.
Yeah.
Little pre-Disney shopping trip. Get snacks and stuff for the car.
We'll have to go to Aldi's for that.
Mm-hmm.
No dyes. Okay. Well, you'll hear more about the Disney trip as each podcast goes along. So let's jump into the topic at hand.
Yeah, so I I feel like this movie Elemental it's not doing super well in the box office, which is super unfortunate because it's actually really good. But I feel like when they dropped the first trailer and everyone saw Wade, the water character, um we kind of associated that with Osmosis Jones. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people kind of thought that immediately when they saw the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that is what like people were making like a mockery of that.
Were they?
Yeah. And I
don't
don't know
remember
if
that.
like that's why it's not doing super well or if it's like the time that it was released.
It's the time that it was released.
Because the trailer looks super good. Grayson had been watching the trailer on repeat the few days leading up to when we saw the movie.
Yeah. And he didn't even know we were going to go see it. So
Mhm.
he just been wanting to watch the trailer. But I was going to say it came out at like the worst time because we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. We've had Indiana Jones now. There's been Transformers Rise of the Beast. There's been The Flash. There's been, countless movies that have came out. And obviously, like, this is going to be geared more towards kids, but a lot of kids went to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And that's like, a family that is on more of a tight, like, budget where they don't go to the movies all the time because they have 4 kids and it's like $150 adventure just to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Like that's that's their one movie for the summer.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I think
That was kind of one of the things that made me want to go more is because I had heard that it wasn't doing well. And it's like you want it to do good if it's a good movie.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't have high expectations because it wasn't doing well, but it like blew my expectations out of the water. Like it was so good.
Yeah, I had really no, like, that was the same with you. Kind of like when you saw Shang-Chi.
Mm-hmm.
You had no expectations for that movie and then you went and watched it and you like really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a movie that I specifically remember you being like,
Meh.
I don't really care. And you were like, left the theater and you're like, holy crap, that was so good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed the movie, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as you. Because I feel like we kind of got like an immigrant story like last year with Turning Red. Along that same line, kind of.
See, and that's the thing. I felt like this one was different. Like,
well, it
way
was different. But that's something I'd seen on TikTok too is like, and I kind of agree with it. It's the immigrant story. Like it's been told multiple times, and they were talking about the different like movies that had come out last year, talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that, but I felt I don't know, I felt like this movie was different enough that it wasn't like I didn't feel like they were like pushing any sort of agenda. Like sometimes things are like very obvious that they're pushing.
Oh yeah, especially with Disney sometimes.
Yeah.
As much as I love Disney, there's sometimes I'm like, wow, you
Yeah.
really got to just shove that right in our face, don't you?
Yeah, and I didn't get that with this movie.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really well balanced and
I'm not
super
complaining
fun.
about that, but I'm just saying, like, for the longest time, Pixar had like really unique like stories to be told, and I feel like this one was just not quite there. It was unique enough as in, oh, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire, but beyond that, it's just like the story itself is very like one level, like very mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that point, but I don't necessarily agree with it on this one because I just love the movie so much. And I can't imagine, well, I just love the film, so now I can't imagine that it would be different, and they couldn't have made it even remotely as good as it is with it being like a different plot because the
Well,
whole
yeah, yeah, that I understand. I'm just saying, like, I feel like Pixar's got to be like a bit more creative, because I feel like the Turning Red
mm-hmm,
was a little bit more of a creative movie,
mm-hmm.
in my opinion. But Pixar, or not Pixar, but Buzz Lightyear or Lightyear
Mm-hmm.
was not.
Right.
As much as like Grayson loves that movie, like that movie didn't do anything special for Pixar. Now, a Pixar movie that is really special is Soul. That's a unique Pixar movie with like a very unique story.
See, and I feel I guess there's not a ton of Pixar movies yet for us to say that there's like
Not a ton of Pixar movies. There's like 25 movies.
I know that's not a ton.
That's quite a bit. That's a Pixar
I
movie
feel
every
like-
year for 20 something years.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're really well balanced. I don't know. I just really think that this movie gave us something totally different. And it was I just like how it wasn't like shoving anything down my throat. Like
Yeah.
it told the story, but it was just
A
again,
story.
it was just well balanced, and it wasn't like it brought up things that were important to talk about, but it wasn't like I'm going to punch you in the face with it. You know what I mean? Like elements don't mix. That kind of thing. And it talked about that, but it wasn't like the whole movie was that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it talked about some important topics without being like too serious or punch you in the face with it.
Okay.
So let's talk about. Tell me some things that you liked about it.
My favorite character was definitely Ember. The fire girl.
Mhm.
That's what Grayson calls her.
Mm-hmm.
The fire girl and the water guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Ember was definitely my favorite character, just because the story that we did have, I did like that she was like, you're gonna be the owner and run the shop,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not really what she wants to do, which is also something I'm like, there's been so many movies like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. In
But-
general, yes. There are a lot of movies where it's like the daughter or the son is supposed to take over the family business, but they
Perfect.
don't want to.
The proposal. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm not gonna like.
But what
dig
I
too
will
deep into it.
what
I
I
just, like-
will say about that though is I did not expect. It's not like we knew the whole time what she wanted to do besides
Mm-hmm.
run the family business, because she didn't really know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice to not. She had this special talent that we didn't really know about until later in the movie, and then
Yep.
it kind of came together, and she realized how much she enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it was kind of nice to, I don't know, to be along for the entire journey of it.
Okay. I get that, but I'm just saying.
No,
I just
I
really,
agree.
like-
That's a very common trend with movies. Is
I enjoyed the movie, and I enjoy like she was my favorite character because like her character was like the most interesting, because it's like the whole time she's trying to cover up a lie the whole time, and because she's the one that lost her temper and caused water to start entering the shop.
mm-hmm.
So I get that. I don't know. I guess I just enjoyed that part of it, and I enjoyed her character. I liked Wade. I thought he was really funny, but he wasn't my favorite character by no means.
I'm kind of the opposite of you. I liked Ember, but I feel like she was a little too mean sometimes to Wade.
Mm.
And that I was like, man, like what? Why are we being so mean to him a couple times? Overall, I liked her, but I really liked Wade.
Because opposites don't attract. As we're opposites. me liking Ember, you liking Wade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought he was super funny.
Yeah. What? I feel like you're like, what? Tell me about, like, what was your favorite? Like, what did you enjoy about the movie?
Honestly, I just love the whole thing. It was
my
so
gosh.
good. I was into it. Like, I remember being in the theater, and Grayson, I could tell, didn't like it as much as I expected him to.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he was watching the trailer over and over again.
The
trailer was really good.
He was kind of done with the movie about an hour in.
Yeah. And I didn't expect that. And I could tell, like, you weren't super into it, but I was like, I'm into this.
Mm-hmm.
This is super good. Better than I expected. And I like the unconventional romance situation that we had going on, because you weren't quite sure, like, what the vibe was for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was nice. I liked anytime that I just love Pixar movies, honestly. Like, the vibrant colors just keep my attention, makes me happy. I
will say that's one thing I can say about Pixar, and like really credit them on, is like their animation is like top tier. It's up there.
Yeah, really good.
But
one thing I will say that kind of surprised me, that one scene, I think it was like towards the beginning, middle,
mm-hmm.
where there were two people in her dad's shop, who, the two people that are always there complaining about stuff. And she said, "Get up off your ash."
Why did you guys get up off your ash? And
yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah,
whoa. That's a little bit on the nose, Pixar.
No, that was good. No, and I guess that's one thing that I did like. Similar to Zootopia, you've got these different areas. Mm-hmm. So you got like the fire city, the water. They're all like one area, but like Fire Town, Water Town, like Earth Town, and Wind Town. Which, by the way, the wind.
That was so funny.
The windbreakers. and
the crop
dusters. Yeah.
That was something that was like super subtle in that scene. And they just showed it for a brief second where it said the team name of crop dusters.
Yeah.
But how funny is that?
Yeah.
That is so good. And also, there were just so many things where I was like, wow, this is super creative. Like when the clouds were getting into the vehicle to like travel, mm-hmm. it would inflate.
Oh yeah.
Because they're all clouds and air. Yeah. Or wind, whatever. They look like little deflate. Cloud puffs. Yeah. So yeah, when they would get into the balloon to travel, it would inflate. Mm-hmm. And then when they all exited,
it deflated.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that is just a little extra touch.
Yeah. No, that was funny.
And I enjoyed it.
Same with the water people. They were in like a submarine, and it's just a giant like container of water practically, yes. And it just dumps out, and they're like, "Oh, you've got my bag."
It was so fun. Just fun.
Felt like the beginning of Zootopia whenever mm-hmm. she like rolls into the city, the main city, and you see like all the different animals together.
I definitely got some Zootopia vibes.
Yeah.
For sure. So if you like Zootopia and you haven't seen this, you will like this movie.
Yeah.
What element would you want to be?
I mean, we really didn't get a whole lot of like earth and wind. We didn't really see a whole lot of. Mm-hmm. I kind of like the tree people, the earth
people.
Yeah, but I would want more if they made like a shorts or something out of this, because I don't know if they would make a sequel to this movie.
That's the thing, is they left it wide open for a sequel, and it would be so good, but because it hasn't done well in the box office, I don't know that it will get a sequel.
I feel like if they did shorts
would be good too.
Like, kind of like Doug, we get shorts about, maybe the main characters, and then maybe the like other elements on the place. That might be interesting. So, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Probably fire.
You would want to be fire?
Yeah.
That was the one where I was like, God, I would not want to be fire. Just she did some cool things, which I thought were creative, like when she used the umbrella to kind of like fly, and she used herself to like inflate the hot air balloon and make it fly.
Yeah.
That kind of a situation.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff was really cool. But I just feel like in general, fire definitely has it harder.
Oh yeah.
Harder than everyone else.
Yeah. Definitely. But I think I'd, just going off of the movie, I would say fire. I'm assuming you'd be water.
Yeah, probably. I just loved the vibe of the water people, and
Would you cry all the time like them?
that was a little excessive.
When she's like, the baby, wah. The mom, when she like the tears up with the baby thing.
I was the first scene with Wade, I was a little confused, and then we got the crying more throughout the movie, and it made more sense, but it was still a little bit over the top. But I still think I would probably want to be water or earth.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure.
That definitely wouldn't want to be a cloud. That's the least one I'd want to be.
See, I'd rather be a cloud than fire.
Oh, no. No, what I did like when she cried like molten lava.
Yes.
Because it was like a irony.
See, they really thought about all of the science-y parts of it.
When a cloud would cry, it'd be rain. And
maybe. I don't know.
When Earth would cry, it'd probably be mud. I'm assuming. That would make sense to me.
Yeah. What were some things that you really disliked about it, if anything?
Oh man, I don't know if I really disliked any of it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as like you did. It's not like I was like, oh, that sucked. I'm trying to think. Maybe you were just more invested in the movie and paying more attention. But I don't know.
Yeah, it sucked me in right away. And I was like, this is amazing. Loving the vibes.
I don't really have anything to really say like I dislike. Because like I said, I was like into the movie. But I also wasn't into the movie. Because one, like, I was still in my work clothes. And like, I was still pretty nasty feeling. And I hate that from work. But yeah, that's just a big pet peeve of mine, is just feeling nasty like that from work. I don't like that feeling at all. Man, what are you cracking up about now? Okay. Well, Ashley collects herself over there. One thing that I thought was funny was the little bitty Earth kid that kept flirting.
What was his name? Clyde or something?
Yeah, something like that. But he kept flirting with Ember.
Yeah,
and
that was cute.
He was this little armpit. Check out my, and he like popped out like a tiny flower. I'm like, what the freak?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay.
I got lost in our conversation talking about if there was anything you disliked, and we were talking about how you were uncomfortable, and maybe that's why you weren't focused or something.
Yeah, that, and I don't know. It's different when Grayson's there too. I'm not like 100% invested in the movie because I'm like,
relax.
I'm like, is he enjoying it?
Well, because didn't you have to take a pee break with him?
Yeah, but that was later towards the end of the movie. That's when he was getting antsy and was like, I want to go home. I don't like this movie no more. And I was like, me too, buddy. But we're not leaving.
No.
Until the movie's over.
See, there was only a couple times where I was like, even remotely not into it. And it was maybe towards the end. Mm-hmm. But overall, it sucked me in. Super good. I would say it's probably one of my favorite Pixar movies.
That's a tough one, but
it's up there for me.
It is good, but I don't think it would get into my top 10. There's a lot of good Pixar movies.
It's probably in my top 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Probably towards the top of my top 10. So,
Um, I don't even know what to say now because, like, there's not a whole lot to really talk about other than like kind of what our thoughts were.
mhm.
I don't know. What do you want? Is there anything else you want to say?
Well, that's the thing is, I wish we were able to do review podcasts or like talking about a specific thing podcast right after we see either the movie or the show that we're going to be talking about, because it has been like 4 days, 5 days now.
Yeah.
So it's not super fresh, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I get that.
But I would just say I was pleasantly surprised. Go see it. Show support.
By the way, there is 27 feature Pixar films.
Okay. Why don't you list them for me and I'll tell you if it's in my like top 10.
Okay. Hold on a second.
I feel like we should just do like a rough ranking.
Here we go. Toy Story. This is from beginning to current.
Okay.
Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, Wall-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Cars 2, Brave, Monsters University, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, Cars 3, Coco, Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear, Elemental.
Dang. Freaking Pixar is so good.
I totally forgot about Luca.
Mm-hmm. I've only seen it one time.
That's a pretty good movie.
Through. I would say Elemental definitely top 10. Probably closer to top 5 because I love both the Incredibles movies.
Mm-hmm.
Monsters University. Those are... Okay, what else? Incredibles and Monsters University. Onward is super phenomenal. And then I really like Finding Dory.
Me too. Yeah, upcoming movies for Disney while you're thinking there is Elio, which I don't even know, but there's a trailer out for it.
Oh yeah, we had talked about that.
It looks weird.
Mm-hmm.
And Inside Out too, which that's more what I'm looking for.
See, and Inside Out wasn't. It's too sad and kind of depressing to be in my top. But I would say Elemental, maybe number 6. Ish.
I would say Elemental will probably be in my like. Okay, if we're saying like, there's 27 movies, so your top 10 would be like tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then like 11 through 20 would be like tier 2. And then the rest would be tier 3. I would say it's like middle of tier 2. So probably like 15, 16, something like that. 14 maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. But yeah, it's not like I had nothing against the movie. It just, maybe if I rewatched it, I'd have more feelings about it. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we watch it from home, I'm more comfortable. And so that's one of those things. Like I said, with Grace in there too, it just really, because you're like, is he having a good time? Like, is he drinking? Is he choking on popcorn? Is he like, because he's, just hanging out in the chair over there with using his little button to kick his seat back.
That cracked me up. So Grayson is 3 and his legs are just long enough to go to the edge of the seat. He doesn't need to be like reclined or anything. And at the beginning, I asked him if he wanted me to like recline his chair or anything. And we kind of agreed that no, he didn't need it. I look over at some point in the movie and he had his chair like all the way reclined. Like, you little...
And his little arms behind him.
Yeah, he sits with his arms behind his head, just like chilling. And I just looked over at him and I'm like, oh my God, he is so smart.
Yeah.
He just figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
a smart little guy.
He is. But yeah, he that's my thing that like I said, it doesn't take me out of the movie completely, but like I am thinking about it in the back of my head, which draws me out just enough to be like, I hope he didn't pee his pants, because we're still Like he's still potty training, I would say, because he still has accidents sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the last thing you want.
Well, I feel like most of the time if he has an accident, it's because he can't get his pants down or something.
Well, no, I know. I'm just saying, like, sometimes
you still
when he
think
gets,
about it.
well, yeah, if he gets too comfortable and like if he really likes something, like he's done this on the couch multiple times, like if he's just really invested, he just goes. And I'm like, come on, dude, you gotta let me know when you gotta pee, or just get up and go pee. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, it's all right, but you can go pee.
So it breaks my heart when he says I'm sorry. Because earlier, I went outside to check on you doing the table, and I came back and Finley had eaten the rest of Grayson's lunch.
Go figure.
And I was like, Grayson, why did you let the dog eat your food?
He laughs.
And he kind of looked at me because I was a little bit more serious. Because I don't know if we talked about this, but we had a freaking hefty vet bill for Finley because he ate something that he wasn't supposed to.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to do x-rays, medicine, and it was $350 to get him taken care of. He's okay, which is the most important thing. But it was because he got into something that he shouldn't have eaten, probably some of our food. And so we're trying to be better about, letting him
crap.
Yeah. And so Grayson knows this because we talk about it, and he looked at me like all sad, and I was like, it's not good for puppy to eat your food. And he was like, I was done with it. And I was like, okay. And then I walked back into the kitchen, and then I came back like a minute later. Mom, I sorry I let puppy eat my food. I was like, oh my God, it's okay. I love you. And I was like, it's okay, buddy. It's just not good for puppy to eat our food.
Yeah.
And because Finley cleans the plate.
Yeah, he does. Like even the macaroni, he because that's what he had.
Mm-hmm.
Like the plate is clean. Like there's no trace of like macaroni juice at all.
That's how I knew it was definitely the dog.
And what cracks me up is that like Grayson thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
Because he just sits there and watches him. Because I think he likes watching him eat. So he's just sitting there watching him like, oh, look at him go. Like he's eating all of the food. But to get back on some of the topic here. Top or like mid tier for me, obviously top 10 for you. I'd give the movie like a solid like B+.
Yeah. I would do like A-.
Okay.
But that's being like really critical because I loved it. It was really, I didn't feel like from the preview we got a lot of personality from Wade. And he had so much personality. And I loved it.
I would like to do a podcast one time. This would be like a podcast where we really have to think about it. That we shoot like a pitch meeting for a Pixar movie.
Ooh, that would be good. We should do that.
I know there's people out there that do it because that's what made me think of the idea is because this guy makes fun of it. He calls it pitch meeting. And but it's like a parody because he's making fun of like movies that are kind of bad. So I'm like, that would be fun to do, but an actual like really think about it.
Yeah.
Because I have kind of an idea. Because
I feel like in general, I mean, Pixar's pretty creative.
Yeah.
So
I have an idea for one that I would think would be really good.
Rough sketch. Lay it out for me.
A struggling artist.
Okay.
His mother passes away when he got all his art skills from his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother's like essence comes to him as a paintbrush. Oh,
that's cute. That's very Pixar. I could see that being a Pixar short. But not like a short.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe like a 10-minute short.
Yeah.
So That's a cute
But you
idea.
could make it a movie.
Yeah.
Like you can make it like, I don't even know. I would have to go back and think about this. But like the mom would be there most of the time. Like he's a struggling artist that can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happens to the mom, and then like he gets depressed, and like you kind of have to still make it
Have
like
you
somewhat
seen-
fun. But
Have you seen the movie Jack Frost with Michael Keaton?
yeah,
where
but it's
he's-
been forever. And
where
we
he
tried to
did-
watch it last year, and you're like, no, I'm not gonna watch that depressing movie.
Yeah, it's freaking sad. But he dies in a car accident and comes back as the snowman.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
Ugh.
But yeah, I was gonna watch it
Or-
for Christmas last year, and you're like, no, that's a sad movie. We're not watching that. I'm like, yeah, but it's got Michael Keaton in it, and it's funny.
Yeah. It is really sad though.
Mm.
I don't really like to watch sad movies because it affects my mood the rest of the day.
Okay.
But that's a really cute idea though, with the paintbrush thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to think about it.
So think about your idea.
Yeah.
We might do that tonight. I'm kind of excited to do that now.
Well, I've had a lot of time to listen to podcasts at my new job, which we didn't even talk about today. So what I was saying was I have a lot of free time at my job to listen to podcasts, and I've been doing a lot of like bulk listening to the happiest podcast on earth, which I would highly recommend. It's a Disney podcast, and it's just very happy. Like I just love the things that they do with the show. And sometimes they will do like a reimagineered episode where they will reimagine either like a current Disney ride or a new Disney ride or like, you know what I mean, create a new Disney ride or like take a Disney ride that is no longer there and like reimagine it. Either retheme it or
kind of like what they're doing to like the Tiana's Bayou Palace, kind of like that.
Yeah, but it's a podcast, and that's not their whole podcast. But sometimes they'll do episodes where they're like, "What if instead of being a show, this was a roller coaster?" And they talk about it.
Okay.
So like how
the Mickey Mouse, where he's a magician. That show, what if that was imagined as a roller coaster?
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. But episodes like that would be fun.
Yeah.
What happens to us is sometimes doing the podcast where you have like a definitive topic, you actually have to put in like a thought process to it and invest time, write things down, take notes, whatever. And what happens to us is like we're both so tired by the time we sit down to do the podcast. It's like we just have enough energy to talk.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like think about it.
Yeah.
That happens to me.
Well, and we like podcasts where we're more chatty and not so like scripted.
Yeah.
And we feel like every time we get like a script, like not a script, but we try to like go through a movie like scene by scene, which is what we've done in the past. And we find ourselves sounding like really robotic and like kind of scripted, but not, because we're both like, oh, and then this happened. And yeah. And I like this. And it's not so chatty, which we think it's more enjoyable when we're a little bit more chatty. And the people I've talked to that actually listen to the podcast like are the same. Like my mom, the only one that probably listens to the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We're working on it. We're always a work in progress. I think once we'll eventually like get into a routine where we record on a certain day of the week. And that is just our routine. We record on that day. And maybe knowing that we're going to record on that day.
Have something more geared.
Yeah. I mean, life is hard. It's hard to balance. We've been pretty much every weekend since I've started my new job where I have weekends off, we've been doing something.
Yeah, like craft shows. Like going to somebody's house for like an event or whatever. Just there's
busy.
Always something.
Garage sale.
Yep. That ate up 2 weekends in a row.
Yep, we did
or not in a row, but it ate up 2 weekends. And we're still cleaning up the garage.
We
from
did
it.
like a garage sale, then we did a craft show, then we did a garage sale, and then this past weekend we did like you were at the lake all day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was at my mom's.
Yeah.
Then I was like working on our coasters and stuff. So it's just hopefully we'll find that balance.
Yep.
I'm feeling like in general like we're getting a good flow and a good routine.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, is there anything else you want to say?
I got a promotion.
Yep.
I don't know why I didn't mention that at the beginning of the show, but I started a new job about 2.5 months ago. Complete 180. I was working in retail and then I moved to healthcare with no healthcare experience. So I kind of started at the bottom. But I interviewed for a position and I got it. So
Woot woot.
whoop whoop. It was very intimidating. They did like a round table style interview with, I had 3 supervisors and then another team lead all interviewing me. And basically what they did is they had like a sheet of questions and each one of them would ask me a question. I would have to answer it. They would write down notes or whatever. But it's kind of intimidating when you're trying to talk and you have 4 people staring at you. Like it was a little intimidating for sure. But I got it and I'm super excited for the future of this job. Much happier. And the promotion puts us financially in a little bit of a better spot. More sustainable. So
A wee bit.
Anyway, yeah. That's it for me, I think. Stay tuned for some Disney updates.
Yep. Each week we'll probably update a little bit on what we've done and how it's going. So, well, if you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you like or subscribe to our page. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, or if you're listening to this podcast, download it on Spotify. And check out our social media at Beyond the Years Podcast on Instagram. And also, if you're interested, you should check out our crafting side at Comic Corp Creations, which I think
everything is
linked in the bio.
Yeah, because we have one link tree for Beyond the Ears, and I think I added our shop on there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
the whole Etsy thing has been stressful.
Yeah, but we do have a Facebook page. It'll lead you to the Facebook page too. So go check it out. And yeah, that'll do it for today. So we'll see you guys in the next episode.